What is going on, everybody? My name is Coda and welcome back to Coda's Colognes. And today we're going to be looking at and reviewing Viktor and Rolf's Spicebomb Extreme. So the colder months are coming right around the corner, or depending on where you live, the colder months are upon us. So I thought I would dive into one of my favorite cold weather fragrances, and that is going to be this little gem right here. Let's get into it. Alrighty, so the first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna show off the atomizer on this, and these spice bombs come with these little collars. I kind of like that. So the first spray is gonna be just like that, and this is a beautiful tobacco fragrance. So when you first spray this, you are immediately hit with a spicy tobacco that has a little bit of a whiskey feel to it. Now, whiskey is a note in this, and it's not an overbearing one. It's not, say, as boozy as an Angel Share or a Comra or something like that, you know, something along those lines. It's not boozy like that in nature, but it does have hints of it here and there. And this is a little bit of an intense fragrance. It is called Spicebomb Extreme, so it's meant to be taking the Spicebomb DNA to the extreme. Oddly enough, for this being an extreme version, I do think this is actually a little bit more subtle. It's a little bit more refined. It's more pleasing. It doesn't have some of the sharp edges that the original Spicebomb had, and to me that's why I love this one so much, is for a tobacco fragrance to have a little bit of sweetness to it, to have a little bit of booziness to it, but to also have a few floral notes in here as well to give it more of a fresh tobacco, as well as keeping a thick backbone to having some sweetness and a little touch of that warmth and a little bit of spiciness there with it. So to me, when I think of like a good cold weather fragrance, this is always going to be one that I will reach for. So what we're going to do now is we're going to get into the note breakdown on this. Let me get this bottle spinning up and I'll be back in a minute. Alrighty, so diving into these notes on this one is actually going to be a little bit different than how we normally do it, because this one, the breakdown, I checked on a couple different sites. The breakdown doesn't really go in top, mid, and base notes. It just, most of them just say notes. So the first note listed on here is vanilla, and that comes at no surprise because this is a very sweet fragrance. You pick up on a lot of that sweetness the moment that this thing is sprayed. The following notes are going to be tobacco, cinnamon, cumin, whiskey, and saffron. And to me, you can pick up hints of every single note in here. That's when I think that is when perfumers do the most gorgeous of jobs. Sometimes you get so many notes that they tend to get lost. You tend to get bled out on what's actually in this. You know, a fragrance like this that doesn't use a huge plethora of notes, you're able to pick up on everything so well. And whenever it's blended beautifully the way that this one is, it falls through everything wonderful. From the moment you spray it all the way to the dry down, this stays a rock solid fragrance all the way through all of that. So now with these notes out of the way, I'm gonna get y'all flipped back around. We'll get into the rest of it. Alrighty, and we are back. So I actually didn't put this one on because this is one of the few that I genuinely don't need to. I don't feel the need to be able to give a good, accurate description to it. Only because during the winter months, that is how much I reach for this. This is one of my most worn winter fragrances. So kind of following a lot of the winter patterns that I like too. This is a tobacco forward fragrance. This is also a sweet fragrance that has hints of vanilla. The way this was blended up in the vanilla in this makes it lean toward a very masculine sweet. It could be the blend of the tobacco and the vanilla, because that is normally when you get a tobacco heavy fragrance, this kind of follows the similar DNA that a lot of tobacco fragrances do. You end up with some tobacco, some vanilla, some cumin, and some cinnamon, all of which are in here. It's crazy to me how the blends of these different fragrances can smell so insanely different, because I know a few different tobacco fragrances that share 5, 6, even sometimes 7 of the same notes, but they smell so different and so defined. To me, this one is more of a natural smelling tobacco, vanilla, stuff like that. The ingredients that went into this, to me, was more natural. This doesn't smell synthetic to me. This doesn't smell too overdone. This doesn't smell like too blown out top. To me, this is very refined. This is very soft. It's very subtle, but it's still very strong. It's a thick backbone. It's not a loud strong. Like everywhere you go, you're gonna leave a good smell trail on this. You're gonna get rock solid performance. And I'll use that to segue into the pricing and availability on this and performance. So availability wise, all your major retailers are going to have this. The biggest bulk of your discounters are going to have this. Retail price going to run you for the 90 mil is going to run you somewhere in that 130 range. Discounter price, depending on when and where, is going to be anywhere from 85 to 95. So for $95, if you could pick this up, that's a steal of a deal for the quality of fragrance you get, for everything you get out of this. Good deal. Performance wise on this, if you're someone who loves having a collection of just performance monsters, this is going to be one for you. This is a rock star performance. I get anywhere from 10 to 12 hours on this. This thing, once I spray it on, it never stops, even all the way down to a skin scent. On me, it takes anywhere from 12 to 13 hours to turn into a true skin scent. You can't ask for any better than that. To me, when you start getting that kind of performance out of a fragrance, you know that it's top tier, top quality. That's everything you can ask for. The sillage on this, now this leaves a big sillage. This sillage is 3 and 4 feet. The projection on this, the projection is probably the one thing that might lack a little bit, but for how big of a profile this is, for how big the sillage is, I don't mind that at all, because if the projection was as big as the sillage, this would be an overwhelming fragrance, no doubt about it. You know, as we went over, this doesn't really have like a top note, middle note, base note. This just has notes. So I don't know where the blends are at. I know as soon as you spray this, you get some sweet, you get some vanilla, you get a little bit of the floral right off the nose, and as it dries down, it pretty well stays the same. The cinnamon comes to a little bit more like it's a base note. So for me, there's never really been a need to refresh this one, because this one's already been so powerful. This one is 5 to 7 sprays, that's all day. That's all you need for the day. Now, if you're someone, now in the winter months, skin does tend to dry out. So if you're someone whose skin is absorbing this real bad, you may want to refresh throughout the day, or you may want to get like a good lotioning routine down or something like that, especially if you're someone who sprays on skin. Because in the winter months, everything gets so dry. These, as awesome as these are, everyone loves wearing these in the winter because of the insane performance you get. These can dry your skin out a little bit, so take care of your skin, especially during the winter months. So if I was going to give this a rating right now, this would be one of the ones in my collection that I would give a true 10 out of 10. Would not change a single thing about this. I love the little grenade in the presentation. I like the name, I like the color, love the fragrance. For $95, if you pick this up for $95, that's a banging deal. This is one of the few fragrances I will say 10 out of 10. Even if you can't get this at discounted, you got to go get it retail, still go get it. This one is one that I have no problem paying retail for, because of everything you get. You get an awesome atomizer, you get a good package, you get a good looking bottle. Everything about this is good. This is good quality. Viktor and Rolf is a good name. So yeah, for me, this is a 10 out of 10. So I think on that note of saying this is a 10, I'm gonna go ahead and get this one wrapped up. Thank you everyone for watching. Thank you everyone for subscribing, for sticking around, for staying tuned, commenting on the videos. I absolutely love it when stuff like that happens. I like getting more engaged. As more people comment, the more I get engaged. To me, that's just a good time. So I'm gonna get on this bottle one more time. And as always, thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time.